kind of interesting with this drone here. I basically didn't launch it, and for some reason it says it's like 6 meters away from me. Okay, I restarted it and that's better. It almost makes me wonder if it's because the fact that the battery's on the ground, where for a lot of people, once you turn it on, you'll have to turn the drone over, and basically doing that messes up something like in the drone. This is an interesting test where if it screws up, let's see what happens. See, like the picture basically breaks up. That's why I usually do the test and stuff, just going straight up and down and so forth. They say if you have your antennas like this, it should be better when you're going straight up and down as well. Holy cow, the sun is actually coming out in like full force almost when I bring the Mavic Pro out instead. Almost the end of the New Year's already, and I guess in terms of news related stuff, it's all about that FAA stuff, huh? It's kind of interesting reading this commentary thing. It says, drone incident at McLaren highlights need for more FAA funding. It's just kind of funny to think about, because I know on the other side people are saying they're going to be doing way too much if something like that recent proposal goes through, like with the drone ID and all that. As it says here, state legislators encounter complex statewide issues, but more often than not, the issues hit much closer to home. As elected officials, it is frustrating to identify a problem with no way of confronting it from your current position. A stone's throw away from my district is McLaren International Airport, where almost 50 million passengers travel annually. It is important that millions of Americans recognize with their Vegas revelry. This basically revolves around the guy who, I guess, had a flyaway with his Phantom, you guys remember, and it landed in the airport. It says, recently a tourist from California was fined $20,000 when a drone he was using to take photos of the high roller Ferris wheel on the strip went wildly out of control. It took beautiful aerial photos as it hovered over McLaren before coming to rest on a runaway. While that is terrifying enough, the FAA did not detect the registered device. It was found by airport employees. Further, when they went to identify the owner, the serial number on the device did not match the one that was in the FAA system. I know it had a flyaway and everything like that, although it says it went wildly out of control. It didn't seem like it went wildly out of control. It looked like it just drifted, like in general. But it says, finally, after some good investigating work, they identified the owner, fined him, and the story will likely fade from memory. But it shouldn't. This event represents a harsh reality that we face in this country. Hundreds of thousands of drones are being added to the skies as we speak. They include recreational vehicles designed to catch the great photo of your group outing or wedding, industry drones helping in agriculture and home assessment, Amazon delivery drones, and even pizza delivery drones. You say that, but to my knowledge, a lot of them aren't even up there yet in terms of like regulations and stuff stopping them. But in general, I guess it's for the visual on how, oh my god, there's going to be so many things in the sky. Look at all the potential danger it'll pose to things like aircraft and all that. It says, if the drone that recently landed in McLaren had caused enough damage to have resulted in a crash, it would have been those of us close to the situation who have had to deal with the result. But it is Congress that entirely controls the ability to fund the work required to finally update our air traffic control system with 21st century technology. As a trained pilot, I am alarmed by this critical infrastructure deficiency. It seems like DC in a stalemate on almost everything, but some national needs must transcend partisan politics. So ultimately, from what I gather, this article is explaining how the FAA needs more funding, I guess, in the US to manage things like drones and all that. Although honestly, overall, it's just funny how they mentioned the point of the aircraft was registered and they couldn't detect it, which makes you wonder in general, did registering things like drones and stuff increase safety overall or at all? Was it just like a money sink, like for the most part, just to say, hey, we're doing something, if that makes sense? It makes me think, because just from my personal experience flying the drone recreationally, it seems like a lot of the regulations are redundant and is not needed, so to speak. You just need basic common sense. If this is all about saving money and being efficient, Although it is interesting kind of reading this, like this guy says, my aviation background allowed me to think about the issue from a pilot's perspective. My time in Nevada legislature has allowed me to think of this from a policy perspective. Congressional Democrats in the House should push for a long-term modernization funding package for the FAA as part of a broader infrastructure deal that congressional Republicans seems interested in and President Donald Trump ran on. I guess more heavy political related type of articles, but again, just in terms of things like drones, it'd be interesting or better in my opinion to actually have panels and experts of people who actually use the drone regularly. Because it is good to have the pilot's perspective too, because if a person like myself for some odd reason is going to fly like in a controlled airspace at the height with aircrafts, I mean you should realistically know in terms of like the regulations and stuff. No different than if I'm riding a motorcycle in the same road as a car, then yeah, I should have to understand everything and all that. But if someone's using it, like with the road example again, you're just crossing like the street, for example, or with someone with a bike, it's completely different in my opinion, like the way it should be managed and all that. Especially for like recreational drone pilots, basically. You fly it to capture up a view. Even some people said like the rule could be as simple, don't fly higher than the nearest object or something like that, just in general, like if you're in a controlled airspace or where there's a threat to manned aviation. I think that's what we needed here too, like in Canada. A panel of actual quote experts that actually use the product on a regular basis, not just people basing it on what they read in the news and all that. Can it be that simple, honestly? I just think they're overcomplicating it way too much in many cases, like for recreational people in general. It just seems like it's going to favor more, I guess, large commercial operations. Like this one says delivery stuff like Amazon and stuff. It just seems like it's making way for stuff like that. Holy shit. Whoa.
You're beautiful. Look at your beard.
Take a picture, Dad. Take a picture. Dad. Take it. I don't have a photo.
Uh-oh.
So that looked all the way around.
I thought you guys were afraid of a squirrel. I'm here.
Actually, when I think about it, this was the exact spot. You guys remember where someone dumped all that food and stuff like that? It attracts big animals, I guess you could say.
Oh, I see another one that's new. Oh no, I see another one that's new. Don't take a picture yet. Yeah, I see another one that's new. That one. Here, that one's here. That one's new. Okay, now take a picture of the new one with the hair, and then take a picture with the one with the spike hair. Okay? Take a picture of it. Now take a picture of the hair one. Take a picture of the hair one. You have to feed that guy. He's a girl. Hair one.
Isaiah.
What are you?
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm getting all the photos, don't worry.
Interesting looking ducks. Haven't seen those before. He heard my voice from a distance. He's like, hey, where is that guy? What is up? don't know if we'll ever get to see a squirrel actually open that from the beginning, huh? Alright, see you guys later.